Hello and welcome to AstroTeena. This is your November and December calendar for 2025. And I just want to thank you for reaching out to me through emails requesting for me to bring my calendars back because you are finding that the dates are very accurate. And so I just wanted to put this out for you because I do appreciate all the feedback that I've been getting regarding the calendars. So for those of you who are new and you have not seen my calendars before, please do take a screenshot of the calendars. And also this is for Vedic ascendant sign. So if you're using Western astrology, these dates will not be accurate. And if you're using Vedic moon sign, you'll find that these calendars are also not as accurate. They will give you your emotional sense for the month. But this is if you're looking at the actual things that are being manifested physically in your life, then they definitely will be your ascendant sign. So this is Vedic ascendant sign that we're looking at here. So now let's start with Aries. So Aries, for November, your days that you have to be careful. Those are the 2nd, the 3rd, the 29th, and the 30th. These are days that you have to be a little bit mindful of your expenses, that you could have unexpected expenses on these days. You could also have expenses that are related to, for instance, if someone is suggesting something and you're, buying things on the spur of the moment, it also could be something that, you have buyer's remorse afterwards. So this is a purchase that you won't be happy with. It'll be money spent that you'll be unhappy with after the fact. So definitely be mindful of these days. If any expenses come, try to postpone it. If you postpone it, then chances are you won't, have any loss in that area as far as finances. Now, you also have to be mindful of your energy on these days as well, because these are days where you'll find that your energies are a little bit low. You'll find that you are wanting to self-isolate on these days. You're wanting to also spend more time on your own. You're wanting to, kind of self-reflect. And there's also this feeling of low energy, feeling sorry for yourself, not feeling quite supported or loved. You're not getting the support around you. So you have to be mindful of that. On these days, you could also have health-related issues. So you could also have a visit to the hospital, or you could also visit somebody in the hospital. So those kinds of things do come up on these days. Now, as far as the 14th, 15th, and 16th, again, these days, they're looking at each other. So you're having the same kind of energy, but this is more of like debt, disputes, expenses, and health-related issues. Here, your energy is more irritated. So this is where you'll find that on these days, 14th, 15th, and 16th, you're actually not feeling your best because health is not going to be on its best on these days. And also because the energy is irritated, you could easily get into an argument with someone. And this is not just, you being irritated. It's also the energy around you is very irritated as well. So you could easily get into an argument on these days. So be mindful of that. Be mindful of your debt and your expenses on these days as well. Now, on the 19th, 20th, and 21st, this is where you'll find that your energies are a little bit stressed. This is where you're kind of feeling it, like the burden. So these days are your caution days. This is where you'll have health-related issues, expenses. You have to keep your decisions pending on these days. Okay, so best thing to do is avoid any kind of appointments or dates, especially if you have court dates. Try to avoid these days because the energy will not be in your favor. So definitely change those days. This is why I give you the dates in advance, so that you can, put it into your calendar and be mindful of these days. Wait till this energy passes and then the energy is more in your favor. So the outcome will be more in your favor. Okay. Now moving on to the good stuff. So money days. So your best money days for the month are the 6th and the 7th. This is where you'll find that you have money in hand. And this is liquid money, like you're easily able to attract money on these days. So for instance, if you have someone who owes you money, definitely ask on this day. You'll get it back really easily. Okay. And also, if you want to learn about money, if you want to learn about the markets, if there's something that, you're trying to, figure out as far as the markets, then the 12th, 13th are really good days to look at charts, study the markets, study strategy. They're really, your focus will definitely be very sharp on these days. So you'll be able to absorb the information really well, and things will click why things move in a certain way in the markets. You'll understand the patterns more easily. Now, if you want to invest further into the markets, then I would say the 1st, 27th, and 28th are your best days if you want to invest further. Okay, so that means look at it and see what you could do with your portfolio on these days. The best days to take profit is the 6th and the 7th, because that's where you have money in hand. Okay, so again, this is not financial advice. Please speak to a professional when it comes to your money. Okay, now when it comes to your career, the best days are the 24th, 25th, and 26th. These are really good days for your career, good days for your public image, and also for your reputation and your fame as far as your career is concerned. So definitely put in your best efforts forward, because you'll get recognized for your efforts. So this is where your work environment is actually very favorable to you. Now, moving on to your honey days. Now, if you're already in a committed relationship, if you're married, then the 17th and 18th are your best days. So this is where you'll find that you easily connect with your partner. Things are a little bit smoother, they're nicer, they're romantic. The bonding is very easy on these days as well, because you have the support and the connection from your spouse. Now, if you're single, then the 12th and the 13th are your best romantic days. This is where the energy is very creative, it's very spontaneous, and you're wanting to have fun on these days. So it's a good 2 days for single people. Now, if you're a student, then the 12th and 13th are really good focus days for you. So if you need to study for a test, if you have an assignment to do, these are your best days, because you'll find that your concentration, your focus is so good on these days, and you're so able to understand and absorb information that's in front of you better than any other days of the month. The 12th and 13th are definitely your days for that. Now moving on to the good, sweet stuff of resting, relaxation, and self-reflection. Those days would be the 4th and the 5th. This is where you want to focus all your energies on yourself. This is where you want to regenerate yourself, recollect your energies, and you want to also spend time by yourself feeling good. You'll also find that on these 2 days, you're actually looking better. You're feeling more rested. The energies are more towards yourself, not going outwards into the world and to the people around you. So Aries, there's your November calendar. Be mindful of the caution days. Those are the days that you really have to put into your calendar and be a little bit aware of the energy on those days. Everything else is looking fabulous for November. So now let's move on to December. So I always begin with the caution days, as you know, we just want to get that out of the way, put it into your calendar so that you're mindful of the energies on these days. So for unexpected expenses and health related issues, your energy is feeling low or wanting to self-isolate, the 26th and 27th are your days where you're going to feel that kind of energy. Now, moving on to the 11th, 12th, and 13th, this is where you have to be mindful of debts, disputes, expenses. Your health is also, could be of concern. You want to be a little bit mindful of your energies. Again, this is the time period where your energies are irritated. Whereas on the 26th and 7th, you're wanting to self-isolate. So there's that like feeling low. But with the 11th, 12th, and 13th, your energies are irritated. People around you are kind of irritated. So you could easily get into disputes on these days. Now, for those of you who have important dates, try to avoid the dates that are in the red. That's why I've put it in color-coded, so that way it's easy for you to refer back to the calendars. So, on the 16th, 17th, 18th, this is where your energies are a little bit stressed. So again, the red panel there is where you have to be mindful of your energies. The top is where you're feeling low energy. The middle is where you're irritated, and the bottom portion, the 16th, 17th, and 18th, this is where your energies are feeling very stressed. So, you could have a lot on your mind. You could just feel overwhelmed on these days, but you do have to be mindful on these days on a collective. Be aware of any decisions that need to be made. It's best to avoid any decisions. Keep those decisions pending for your positive days. In that way, you're not regretful of the decisions that are made, and then you're making, you're having either buyer's remorse, or you're making the wrong decisions on these days. And then looking back, you're wishing that, you hadn't. So it's better just to let this energy pass. Wait for the more positive days, because then you're clear-minded, right? The days in the red panel, it's where your energies are really, they're kind of conflicting, so your focus is also not there. So the chances of you making wrong decisions are more likely on these days. So definitely let these days pass, because you have a lot of really good days of the month where you could do these things as well. If you have any court dates, if you have any important dates with any as far as like negotiations or anything of that sort, try to avoid the red panel dates. Okay, those are days where the decisions being made will not be in your favor, because the energy is not in your favor. Okay, so now let's look at the positive side of the month, because we got all the negative out of the way. Okay, so now let's look at the good money days. Okay, so this is exciting. You have a lot of good money days in December. So the 3rd, 4th, and the 30th, this is where you actually have money in hand on these days. This is where the liquid money is really good. The money is easy. It's very easy to manifest money on these days. So you need to ask for money. And if you ask, you shall receive on these days. If you have someone that you've lent out money to and you need it back, good days to ask for it back. If you have invoicing that needs to be done, do it on these days. Good days for that. Now, if you want to learn about the markets, if you want to study the markets, then the 9th and 10th are your best days. And if you're already into the markets and you've already invested and you want to invest further, then the 24th, 25th are your best days for that. But if you want to take profits, then the 3rd, 4th, and 30th are your best days for that. Okay. Again, speak to a professional when it comes to your finances. Now, moving on to career. Your best career days of the month for December are the 21st, 22nd, and 23rd. This is where you'll find that your efforts at work are being noticed. Your work is being recognized. If you have any meetings, these are good days for meetings, because the amount of effort that you're putting in will definitely see results on these days. Now let's move on to the beautiful part of the calendar, which is the love days. So your honey days. So for those of you who are married, the 14th, 15th are your best days for, that romantic night out, to bond with your partner, your spouse. And if you want to collaborate with your spouse, get support from your spouse, and if there's important things that you need to discuss as a couple, then definitely the 14th, 15th are your best days for that, because the results will be easy on these days. Now, for those of you who are single, then the 9th and 10th are your best days for that, because the energy is very creative. It's very spontaneous, creative. It's this energy where you want to have fun. You want to enjoy yourself. So it's a very easy energy for that. Now, if you're in school, then your best days are the 9th and 10th. So students, definitely, you'll see that your focus, your concentration, your studies will definitely be at a peak on these days. And studying is very easy on these days, because you're really able to focus on what you're studying. So now that you've dealt with everything else and everybody else, so when is the best time to focus on yourself? So that would be the 1st, 2nd, 28th, and 29th. These are your best days to go for a massage, relax, rest. And you also want to do some self-reflecting. So you might want to do some self-journaling, focus on yourself, go out and treat yourself to a haircut or a facial. And, you'll see that you're also looking your best on these days as well. These are good hair days. So, there you go, Aries. This is November and December dates for you that you've requested. So definitely take a screenshot of these dates and you will see that these are very, very on point, very accurate. And once you start doing this, you're going to do this every month, and you'll see that, you need to put these dates into your calendar ahead of time, so that way you're able to actually use the energy that the universe is presenting to you. So if something is negative coming up, you're prepared for it in advance. And if something positive is coming up, as far as like career, money, and love, then you know when to take advantage of those opportunities. So again, I want to emphasize this is Aries, Vedic ascendant sign. Okay, this is where you'll find that the dates are accurate. Thank you. Hello and welcome back. This is your November and December calendar for Taurus. 2025. So these are your dates for the month. So definitely take a screenshot of the calendars and put them into your calendar, so that way you're mindful of the energy that the universe is presenting to you. So that way you can take advantage of that energy and you know how to work with it. Now this is Taurus Vedic ascendant sign. Okay, if you're using Western astrology, if you're using moon sign, it's not going to be accurate. Okay, I'm just letting you know that this is only for Vedic ascendant Taurus. Okay, so now let's look at November. So let's look at first your money days. So your best money days of the month are the 8th and 9th. This is where you'll find that money is actually easy to manifest on these days. You should have liquid money in your hand on these days. So for instance, if you've lent out money to someone, these are the days you want to ask for your money back. Okay, you'll very easily get the money back on these days. If you have to send out invoices, these are the best days for that as well. Now, if you're learning about the markets, if you want to study the markets, you want to see how the markets work, then the 14th, 15th, and 16th are your best days for that. And if you're already invested in the markets and you want to invest further, then the 2nd, 3rd, 29th, and 30th are your best days for that. But if you're in the markets and you want to take profit, then the money days. So the 8th and the 9th will definitely be where you'll have money in hand, and you should see good profits on those days. Okay. And always remember to hire a professional for that. This is not financial advice. Now, let's move on to career. So your best career days for November are the 1st, 27th, and 28th. This is where you'll find on these days your career is the focus of these days. The work environment is in focus these days. This is where you'll find that your efforts that you're putting in at work are getting recognized. You're actually getting support from your superiors on these days as well. So now the best love days for you for November. If you're married, that would be the 19th, 20th, and 21st. This is where you'll find that the romantic bonding is there with your spouse. If you have, a date that you want to have, these are great days for that as well. You'll find that you're easily getting along with one another on these days. Now, for those of you who are single, then the best days for you are the 14th, 15th, and 16th. Those are the days that you'll find that the energy is really beautiful for romantic dates, going out, doing something creative together, doing something spontaneous. You're in the mood for pleasure and romance and love on these days. So definitely good if you're single. Now, for those of you who are students and you're in school, then your best focus, concentration, study days would be the 14th, 15th, and 16th. This is where you'll find that your mind is very clear. You're able to really focus. You're able to concentrate on your work. And if you have an assignment that needs to be handed in, great days for that as well. Now let's move on to the serious part of the calendar for November, and that is your caution days. Now, there's a reason why I put this panel in red, because I want you to be aware of these days. Put them into your calendar and be mindful of this energy, because this is an energy which is not in your favor. This means on these days you could have health-related issues, expense-related issues. These are the days you want to keep your decisions pending. Okay, that means if you make a decision on these days, chances are you will later on regret that decision. So it's better not to make decisions on these days. Leave those decisions pending. If you have any court dates, if you have any negotiations, if you have any kind of appointments, it's better to keep these days out of your calendar for those types of things, because the energy will not be in your favor. So the results will not be what you want. So you need to move to more positive days in order to get the results that you want. Now, on the 4th and 5th, this is where you could have unexpected expenses. You could have health-related issues. This is where your energy is feeling kind of low. You're wanting to self-isolate. You're wanting to, be alone. You also don't feel loved and supported on these days as well. So not a good 2 days, but this energy passes. Now the 17th, 18th, again, it's you're dealing with same type of issues, health, debt, those types of issues, but the energy here is slightly different. The energy here is where you're feeling kind of irritated. The energy around you is irritated. So you could very easily get into a dispute with someone on these days. These are the days you want to make sure you do not, if you have a court date, don't do it on these days because the judge will not be in your favor. Now, on the 22nd and 23rd, this is where you want to be mindful of, your stress levels. This is where you're going to feel like, you have too much on your plate. You're dealing with too much. You feel overwhelmed. So best thing to do is lay low, let these energies pass. You only have 6 days in November where you kind of have this, these kinds of issues here. The rest of the month is looking very favorable for you. You have a lot of really good love days, okay? You have 6 really beautiful love days. So now let's turn the focus onto yourself, okay? When are the best days for you to rest, relax, self-reflect, and to self-rejuvenate? And that would be the 6th and the 7th. These are good days for you where you need to focus your energies towards yourself. You'll find that you're looking really good on these days. You're actually feeling better on these days, and you're feeling more positive on these days as well. So if you need to go for a haircut, facial, a date, you do something for yourself, these are the days for that, okay? So there you go. That was November, and now we'll move on to December. So Taurus, your December is also looking really good. You have some really good days here. So let's discuss your money days first. The 5th and 6th are your best liquid money days. So if you're already in the markets and want to take profit, those are good days for that. If you've lent out money and you need it back, that's a good time to ask for that. If you're invoicing, this is a good time for that as well. Chances are very high the money will come back to you very easily. Now, if you want to learn about the markets, then the 11th, 12th, and 13th are good days for that. And if you are already in the market and you want to invest further, then the 26th and 27th are your best days. Again, this is not financial advice. Speak to a professional. Now, when it comes to your career days, the best days are the 24th and 25th. You'll find that the career is the spotlight on these days. You'll find that your work environment is very supportive on these days as well. And the efforts that you're putting forth, they'll definitely get recognized. So you'll find that your coworkers are also very supportive on these days as well. Now, let's move on to the honey part of the calendar, your love days. So the honey days is, if you're married, the 16th, 17th, 18th are your best honey days. So if you're married, these are great days for you to actually go out on a date with your spouse. Do some bonding with your spouse. You need to spend time with them because the energy here is really good. It's very supportive with your partner. Now, if you're single, then the 11th, 12th, and 13th are your best romantic days of the month. This is where you'll find that, you're actually wanting to enjoy yourself on these days. The energy is very spontaneous, very creative, very fun and loving on these days. So good days for a date. Now, if you're a student, the 11th, 12th, and 13th are your best days to do your assignment, to do your studying, because the focus, the concentration is really there. And everything that's in front of you, you're actually absorbing it very easily. So it's less of a struggle. So if you're finding some topics which are harder for you to do, these are definitely the days that you want to look at those things because you're really able to really understand things. Things become more clear on these days. Now let's move to your caution days. That's the red panel on to the left. These are days that you definitely want to put into your calendar because these are days that you need to be a little bit more mindful. Okay, this is where you need to be careful of your expenses, your decisions. Please keep them pending. Don't make any decisions on these days, as you would most likely regret the decisions that you're making, because you're not really thinking clear on these days. The energy is not very supportive for you to think clearly on these days. So chances are more higher that you would make the wrong decision. So now the 1st, 2nd, 28th, and 29th, this is where you could have unexpected expenses. You could have health related issues. This is where your energy is feeling kind of low. This is where you're wanting to self-isolate. You're feeling sorry for yourself. You're not feeling loved. You're not feeling supported, and you're just not happy during these days. Now let's move on to the 14th, 15th. These are where your energies are very irritated. You're irritated. The energies around you are irritated. So chances are very, very high that you can get into an argument with someone very easily. So out of all the dates in the calendar, I would say the red panel is the most important. Definitely put it into your calendar and watch these dates really work for you, because if you're aware of these energies, then you're able to actually manifest things to your own desires. Now, if you know that you're going to get into an argument with someone on the 14th, 15th, and if somebody's irritating you, you just want to make sure that, you know, you're more mindful, you're aware, and then let this energy pass. And then the events are not so eventful. Okay, you'll see this with using this calendar. You'll actually see these energies play out in this way exactly. Now, the 9th and 10th, you'll see that the energies are very stressed here. You're going to feel overwhelmed. You're going to feel overburdened. Again, it's not a happy kind of energy. So definitely let this energy pass, lay low, and you have a lot of really good days of the month. And you want to really use these energies to your own benefit. Now, the best days for the month to rest, relax, self-reflect are the 3rd, 4th, and 30th. These are days where you'll find that you're looking good, you're feeling positive. These are days where you want to focus all your energies back to yourself. This is where you want to self-rejuvenate yourself and regenerate yourself as well. So definitely make the use of these positive days in your calendar. So there you go, Taurus. That was your November and December dates that you've requested. So definitely take a screenshot. I just want to be very clear that these are your dates if you are Taurus Vedic ascendant sign. If you're using your Western astrology, these dates will not be accurate. And if you're using the moon sign, you'll find that they're not as accurate. They will be on an emotional level, but as far as physically manifesting, you need to have your Vedic ascendant sign. That's what you want to be looking at. Okay, thank you. So Gemini, welcome to your November-December 2025 calendar. Thank you so much for all the emails that I received asking for the calendars back, because you're finding that the dates are very accurate. What I would want to make clear is that this is for Gemini Vedic ascendant sign. So definitely, if you don't know your ascendant sign, look that up first. It's very easy to find online. All you need is your date of birth, time of birth, and place of birth, and you'll be able to find your Vedic ascendant sign. Okay, that's where you'll find that these dates are very accurate. Do take a screenshot of them and then put them into your calendar so you can see that these are very accurate. So now let's look at November. First, we'll look at your money days. So the best money days for you for November are the 10th and 11th. This is where you'll find that you have liquid money in your hands. It's very easy for you to manifest money on these days. If you've lent out money, best days to ask for it back. It'll easily come back to you. And if you are someone who needs to do some invoicing, great days for that as well. Now, if you're wanting to learn about the markets, then the 17th and 18th are your best days for that. And if you are already into the markets, if you've already invested and you want to invest further, then the 4th and 5th are your best days. If you want to take profit, then the 10th and 11th are your best days for that. So again, this is not financial advice. Please speak to a professional for that. Now let's look at your career. Now, for career, the 2nd, 3rd, 29th, and 30th are your best career days. This is where your public image is on a peak. This is where you'll find that your work environment is very supportive. Your coworkers, your superiors will actually want to collaborate with you, they'll actually appreciate the efforts that you're putting in. So you definitely get the recognition at work on these days, and the focus will be more on work on these days as well. So now let's look at your love days, which are your honey days. So now if you're married, the 22nd and 23rd are your best married love days. Okay, so if you want to go out on a date, if you want to do some bonding with your partner, best days for that. If you need to have a discussion with your partner, best days for that as well. Now, if you're single, then the 17th, 18th are your best days for that. This is where romance is in the air, the creativity, the spontaneity is there, and this is a more, happy-go-lucky, wanting to have some pleasure days. Okay, so this is where the energy is really good. It's very flowing on these days. So if you're a student, then the 17th, 18th are really good for you as far as handing in an assignment, working on an assignment. If you have something that you need to study, which you're having difficulty with, then the 17th, 18th are your best days for you to, because your focus, your concentration, your ability to absorb information is really good on these days. So definitely use it to your advantage. So now let's move to your caution days. Now, this is the red panel on the side. Now, these are the days where you want to make sure that you keep your decisions pending. You don't want to make any decisions on these days, as you could later come to regret those decisions because you weren't thinking clearly. Also, if you have any dates, as far as court dates, if you have any negotiations, if you have any kind of meetings, these are not the best days for that, as the results will not be in your favor. The energy in this area, the red panel, is not in your favor. So now let's look at the 6th and 7th. This is where you could have unexpected expenses. You could have health-related issues. Your energies could be very low and you could want to self-isolate. You could feel lonely. You could feel unloved, unsupportive on these days. So definitely, it's 2 days, so let this energy pass. That's what I would say. Now, moving on to the 19th, 20th, and 21st. This is where you have to be mindful of your debt and disputes, expenses, and health-related issues. This is where the energy is very irritated on these days. Whereas the 6th and 7th, it's very low energy. On the 19th, 20th, and 21st, this is very irritated energy. This is where you'll find you're very easily irritated, so you could easily get into an argument with someone. And also, this is not just, you, the energy around you is also very irritated. So someone can also pick a fight with you. So be really, really mindful of the energy. That's why I'm saying mark it down in your calendar and you'll definitely see that these are very accurate. And if you're aware of this energy, then you'll see that it doesn't happen as much because you're able to actually, look at what is happening and kind of avoid it. So it's very interesting, but you'll definitely see this energy around you. So make note of it. Now, the 24th, 25th, and 26th, this is where you want to be mindful of the energy around you because, you're feeling very stressed. You're feeling very overburdened, overwhelmed, and, it's a kind of a heavy energy as well. So, be mindful of things. It could be, also family-related stress as well. So just be mindful of these days. Mark them down in your calendar. So then you're aware and you can actually work around them. Okay. You want to take advantage of all the positive days and you want to be aware and mindful of your caution days. Now, your best days to concentrate on yourself is the 8th and 9th. This is where you want to focus your energy on yourself. So you want to rest, relax, self-reflect. So maybe do some self-journaling on these days. This is where you'll find you're looking good, you're feeling good, because the energy is more directed inwardly now, instead of outwardly for the rest of the month. So, definitely take that energy to recharge yourself for the month of November. So now let's look at December. So your best money days are the 7th and 8th. These are your money days where you'll find that you have liquid money in hand. Money comes to you easy. You can manifest money very easily on these days. If you need to ask for money that you've lent out, good time to ask for that money back. You'll easily get it. If you need to invoice, good time for that as well. If you want to study the markets, the 14th, 15th are your best days for that. If you want to invest further into the markets, then the 1st, 2nd, 28th, and 29th are your best days for that. If you want to take profits, then the 7th and 8th are good days for that. Again, this is not financial advice. Speak to a professional for that. Now let's look at career days. Your best career days are the 26th and 27th. This is where you'll find that your work environment is very supportive to you. Your superiors are actually noticing the work that you're putting in. You're getting credit for the work that you're putting in as well. And because the energy around you is very supportive, you'll find that you're able to actually do some collaboration with your coworkers. They're very supportive to you on these days. And if you have any meetings, these are also good days for that as well. Now let's look at your honey days. So that's the 19th and the 20th. These are great days for you to do some romantic bonding with your spouse, with your partner. And if you have any if you're looking to get support from your spouse, if you need to have a discussion with your spouse, definitely these are good days for that because they'll be very receptive to you. Now, if you're single, then the best days are 14th and 15th. This is where you'll find that the energy is it's very easy. It's very spontaneous. It's a very pleasure-seeking kind of energy. So romance is definitely in the air. If you're single, good days for a date. Now, if you're a student and you're studying, then the best days for you would be the 14th, 15th. This is where your focus, your concentration is very sharp. You're able to really absorb what you're taking in and really understand it well. Now let's look at your caution days. These are days you want to mark down on your calendar. You want to be a little bit aware of the energies around you on these days. This is why they're grouped together. These are the days you want to keep your decisions pending. This is where you don't want to make any decisions because after these days, you're going to look back and say, maybe I shouldn't have, maybe I should have thought about that twice, because you're going to be regretful of the decisions you make on these days, because chances are you'll make the wrong decision. The energies around you during these days are a little bit challenging as well. So be mindful of that. If you have any court dates, if you have any negotiations, if you have any meetings, not good days for that because the energy is not in your favor on these days. Now, the 3rd, 4th, and 30th, these are days that you have to be mindful of unexpected expenses. Something could just pop up. You could have health-related issues, but mostly your energy is feeling very low. You're feeling like you want to self-isolate. You want to be alone. You're not feeling supported. You're not feeling loved on these days. The energy is just like that on these days. So definitely just let it pass. And you'll see that if you're aware of this energy, then you can kind of understand it a little bit. Really look at it, Now, the 16th, 17th, 18th, this is where you want to be aware of the energies around you because the energy is very irritated. Your energies are irritated. The energies around you are irritated, which can cause conflict, which can cause disputes. So be aware of that. And if you're aware of it, then chances are less likely that any disputes will happen or that you can manage the disputes because you're aware of it. So you're working around that energy. That's why it's important to mark it into your calendar. Now, the 21st, 22nd, and 23rd, this is where you want to be mindful of your energies because you're feeling very stressed. You're feeling overwhelmed. Just in life in general, it could be, just your own issues. It could also be family-related issues as well. So definitely mark these days on your calendar. Now for December, the best days for you to focus on yourself are the 5th and 6th. This is where you want to do your, self-reflecting. You want to do your rest, your relaxing, your self-rejuvenation. If you want to go out for a massage or do a facial, great days for that. Just take a nice warm bath. Good day, for you to just take time out and regenerate yourself, recharge yourself, and focus all the energies towards yourself. So these are also good days for you. Do some meditation, do some yoga as well. Now, this is where you'll find that on these 2 days, you actually have really good hair days. This is where you actually feel good, look good, because all the energy is kind of, it's very positive on these days. So definitely make the most of your November and December, Gemini. You have a lot of really good days. Just take your, take a snapshot of these calendars, put them into your calendar. So that way, you're very aware of the energies around you. And then you can take advantage of all the positive energy around you and look at the times where you need to be a little bit more cautious. And then, you work around that energy. It's nothing to be scared of. It's just that you need to be a little bit aware of these energies. And then you'll see that the efforts you're putting in to work around the energies actually do work. You can actually avoid arguments. You could actually avoid making bad decisions or having Or you could be very mindful of your expenses so that way, it's not affecting your savings as much. So, you need to work with the calendar. Definitely, again, take a screenshot of it and make use of this calendar. You'll see that it's very accurate. Again, this is for Gemini Vedic ascendant sign. It's not for Western Gemini. It's not for Western or Vedic moon sign. This is for Gemini Vedic ascendant sign. Thank you. Welcome back, Cancer, to your November and December 2025 calendars. So before I begin, I just want to make mention that this is for Cancer Vedic ascendant sign. If you're using Western astrology or if you're looking at moon signs, this will not be accurate. So it needs to be your Cancer Vedic ascendant sign. So let's begin by looking at November. So let's look at money days first. So your best money days are the 12th and 13th. These are the days that you'll find that you actually have money in hand. And the money flow is really good on these days. So if you need to, access money, a good way to do that is by asking for any money that you've lent out. If you have any billing to do, if you have any invoicing to do, good days for that. Because the money flow is really good, so the resistance isn't there. So you'll find that it flows to you very easily. So definitely make use of this energy. If you want to learn about the markets, if you are trying to study the markets, then the 19th, 20th, 21st are your best days for that. You'll find that you're very easily learn about the markets on these days. Now, if you're already in the markets and you want to invest further, then the 6th and 7th are your best days to invest further. If you want to take profits, then that would be the 12th and 13th. Again, this is not financial advice. Speak to a professional for that. Now let's look at your career. The 4th and 5th are your best career days. This is where you'll find that the environment at work is very supportive to you. You're actually getting recognized for the work that you're putting in, the efforts that you're putting in. If you have any meetings, good days for that as well. Now let's look at your honey days. Now, love days. The honey days for married couples, the 24th, 25th, and 26th, these are your best days of the month of November for romance. If you want to bond with your spouse, your partner, best days for that. So definitely go out on that date. Now, if you're single, then the 19th, 20th, and 21st are your best romantic days because the energy is it's very easygoing, very romantic, very pleasure seeking, a lot of spontaneity, a lot of creativity on these days. Now, if you're a student, then the 19th, 20th, and 21st are your best days for focus, concentration, for studying. You'll find that you're able to actually really absorb information on these days better than any other days of the month because the energy is very geared. It's a very mental energy. So the clarity is very much there. Okay, so you'll be able to focus, concentration will be good. And also the way that you're absorbing the information will be much easier because the energy is supporting that. And now let's look at the caution days. That's the red panel on the side. These are days where you need to be a little bit mindful of the decisions. So definitely keep decisions pending on these days. If you do make any decisions, chances are very high you'll make the wrong decisions and you'll regret the decisions afterwards, looking back and thinking I should have decided differently because your energies here are not supported to clear thinking. So chances are someone could actually take advantage of you on these days so that you make the wrong decision, and it's to their advantage, not to your advantage. So you'll definitely make wrong decisions during this time. So be mindful of that. The energies around this time are also not in your favor. So if you have a court date, if you have negotiations, if you have meetings, not good days for that because, again, this is not energy this is kind of energy that is not in your favor. So the results will not be in your favor. So let this energy pass. You have a lot of really good days. All the other days are in your favor. So definitely make the use of those days because then you'll get the results that you want. Now, looking at the 8th and 9th, this is where you'll find that you have unexpected expenses. So something could just pop up. You could have health-related issues. You'll find that your energies are very low on these days. You're wanting to self-isolate. You're feeling a little bit lonely. You're not feeling loved. You're not feeling supported on these days. So you're just kind of, It's just a very low kind of energy. Now, if you're looking at the 22nd, 23rd, this is where you'll find that you have to be mindful of health, debt, disputes, and expenses. This is where you want to be mindful of the energies around you. They're very irritated. The energies around you, the energies within you are very irritated. So you could easily get into a dispute or argument with someone. Now, if you're aware of this energy, then you can kind of, work around it, and then, less chances of you getting into that dispute, but you'll definitely notice that energy. And this is why a lot of people say your calendars are very accurate, because they're actually paying attention because they've marked it into their calendar. So now they're noticing these energies. So now moving on to the 1st, 27th, and 28th of the month. This is where you'll find that your energies are very stressed on these days. You're feeling very overwhelmed. You're feeling overstressed. It could be, related to issues in your own life, or your family related issues as well. So you need to be a little bit mindful of those days. So my best advice is just, the red panel, let those days pass. Don't be too just be very self-aware of the energies around you, and you could actually manage them much better. Now, if we're looking at the best days for you to focus on yourself, then that would be the 10th and 11th. Those are your best relax and rest and self-reflection days. This is where you want to focus all the energies on yourself, and you want to self-rejuvenate, self-energize yourself for the month of November. So now moving on to December. So your best money days are the 9th and 10th. This is where you'll find that money is in hand. It's flowing very easily. You're able to manifest money on these days. If you need to ask for money, you need to borrow money. If somebody owes you money, these are easy days for you to get that money back. If you need to do any billing, if you need to do any invoicing, good days for that as well. Now, if you want to learn about the markets, the 16th and 17th, 18th are your best days. If you want to invest further, then the 3rd, 4th, and 30th are your best days for that. And if you want to take profits, that would be the 9th and 10th are good days for seeing profits. Now, again, this is not financial advice, so speak to a professional. Now let's move on to career. So your best career days are the 1st, 2nd, 28th, and 29th. This is where you'll find that you're really focused on your career. You just want to get work done on these days, and you're actually going to get recognition for the work that you're putting in. The higher ups will definitely notice you on these days. They'll notice the efforts that you're putting in, and they'll be supportive. Now, let's move on to your honey days. Now, for those who are married, then the 21st, 22nd, and 23rd are your best honey days. This is where you can very easily, improve your bond with your spouse. This is where you'll find that romance is in the air. Your spouse is actually more receptive to you on these days. So if you need to have a discussion with them, if you need to, get their opinion on something, these are definitely good, positive days where the energies are very free-flowing for love. Now, if you're single, then the 16th, 17th, 18th are good days for you, because these are days that are filled with creativity, spontaneity. This is very easygoing kind of energy. So definitely make use of that if you're single. Now, if you're a student, then the 16th, 17th, 18th are your good focus, concentration, study days. This is where you'll find that you very easily absorb any kind of information, and you can understand things much easier on these days. Now, moving on to the red panel, which is your caution days. These are days that you need to be mindful of your decisions. So keep your decisions pending. Do not make any decisions on these days. Chances are very high you'll make the wrong decision. And then you'll regret it afterwards for sure when you're looking back on these days. Now, also, these days are not in your favor. So if you have a court date, if you have any negotiations, if you have any appointments, if you have any meetings, these are not good days for that, as you'll find that the results will not be in your favor. So now let's look at the 5th and 6th. This is where you could have unexpected expenses, health-related issues. This is where you're actually feeling like your energies are kind of low. You could want to self-isolate on these days. You could, you're actually not feeling loved or supported on these days. So you're just, sort of in your cocoon on these days. Now, moving on to the 19th and 20th, this is where you'll find that, you could have health related issues. You could have debt on your mind. You could also very easily get into an argument with someone. So definitely be mindful of the energies on these days. This is where the energy around you is very irritated. Okay, your energies are very irritated and the energies around you are very irritated, which means you could very easily get into an argument with someone. So this is why I say mark it down on your calendar, and then you are aware of this energy, and then you can kind of avoid those kinds of situations. So this is where the calendar becomes very helpful, and this is why people have been emailing me, please bring back the calendar, because the dates are very accurate. Okay, so now looking at the 24th and 25th, these are days where you'll notice that the stress level is a little high on these days. You're feeling very overwhelmed. It could have something to do with your own life. It could have to do with your family, even your in-laws as well. You could have a situation where you're dealing with insurance. Be mindful of your stress level. So make sure you're taking time out to de-stress. Now, when we're looking at de-stressing yourself, the best days for that would be the 7th and 8th. So definitely take time to rest, relax, self-rejuvenate, self-reflect, do some self-journaling. They're very good for bringing the energies back to yourself. So you'll find that the 7th and 8th are actually really good days. They're your days. These are days that you want to focus your energies on yourself. And these are also days that, you could have good hair days here. You could have days that you're actually looking really good on these days because your energy is more positive. It's more self-focused. So there you go, Cancer. That was November and December calendar for you. Do take a screenshot of it and put it into your calendar, and you'll see that these days are very accurate. And that's if you're Cancer Vedic ascendant sign. Again, I want to emphasize this is Vedic astrology and we are using ascendant signs. So definitely be mindful of that. Otherwise, the dates will not be accurate if you're using Western astrology. Hello and welcome back, Leo. This is your Vedic astrology calendar for November and December 2025. I just want to emphasize this is for Leo Vedic ascendant sign. This is not for Western Leo astrology sign, and this is not for moon sign either. Okay, so if you want to use my calendars, please use your Vedic ascendant sign. You can look it up online very easily, and those are the dates that will be accurate for you. So now let's look at November 2025. Let's look at your money days first. So the 14th, 15th, and 16th are your best money days. This is where you can easily manifest money on these days. If you need to borrow money, good to ask on these days. And if you've lent out money and you need it back, good days to ask for that money back because the money flow is easy. So the energy is very receptive to you. So you can easily manifest money on these days. Now, if you want to learn about money, you want to learn about the markets, then the 22nd, 23rd are your best days for that. And if you want to take profits, 14th, 15th, 16th are good days for that as well. Again, that's not professional advice. Please speak to a professional. Now let's look at your career days. The 6th and 7th are your best career days. This is where you'll find that the work environment is actually in your favor. So your superiors, your coworkers will actually be more supportive to you. If you have any meetings, good days for you to take meetings on the 6th and 7th. Now, if you're married, your best love days are the 1st, 27th, and 28th. This is where you'll find that the energy is very supportive to you and your spouse. The bonding that you share will be strengthened on these days. You can find that you can have a romantic energy, which is in the air for you. And you'll also find that your partner is actually more receptive to you on these days. So definitely a good time to have a discussion with them if you're looking to discuss something. If you want to spend time with them, good time for that as well. Now, if you're single, then the best days for you would be the 22nd and 23rd. This is where you'll find that your energy is very fun-loving, easygoing, and it's very spontaneous. The spontaneity is definitely there. The creativity is definitely there. You do feel romance in the air on these days. So good day for you to take, to go for a date, the 23rd and 22nd. Now, if you're a student, the best days for you to focus on your studies would be the 22nd and 23rd. This is where you'll find that your focus, your concentration, your ability to absorb information is really at a peak here. the mental clarity is definitely there. So you're actually able to absorb everything that you're taking in. Now let's look at your caution days. Now for the month of November, these are the days that you want to be a little bit mindful of any decisions that you make. Please keep your decisions pending, as you could make the wrong decisions because the clarity of mind is not there. And also the energies around you, this is more where somebody could manipulate you into making a wrong decision. Also, if you have court dates, if you have negotiations, if you have meetings on these days, it's better to avoid them as the energy is not in your favor. So therefore the results will not be in your favor. Now let's really break it down. Now, if we're looking at the 10th and 11th, this is where you could have unexpected expenses. This is where you could have health-related issues. You could also have this sense of feeling very low. So the energy is very, kind of depressed, feeling sad, feeling like you wanted to self-isolate. You're not feeling very loved. You're not feeling supported. It's that kind of energy. So just let this energy kind of pass, lay low. Now moving on to the 24th, 25th, and 26th, this is where you have to be mindful of your energy because this energy is a little bit different than the 10th and 11th. 10th and 11th, you're feeling kind of low. This is where you're feeling kind of irritated. So this means the energies within you and the energies around you are very irritated, which means you could very easily get into an argument with someone. This is why I say mark it down in your calendar. Because if you're aware of this energy, especially for the 24th, 25th, and 26th, if you're aware of this energy, you can manage the energy. So then you know, okay, this person's trying to start something with me, or I'm just feeling very irritated right now. You know what? I should just, be mindful of that. And then whatever dispute you were supposed to get into, whatever conflict you were supposed to have, it won't be at the same level because of your awareness. So that's why I say, that's why I got so many emails saying, please bring the calendar back. So now let's look at the 2nd, 3rd, 29th, and 30th. These are days where you'll feel your stress levels are on a high. You're feeling very stressed, very overwhelmed, very overworked as well. So your energies are kind of like, like you have too much on your plate. You're dealing with so much. So what I would say is on these days that you have in the red panel is the best thing to do is be aware and lay low. And they're easy. They're not as disruptive if the awareness is there. That's why I say mark it down in your calendar. Now, your best days to, rest, relax, self-reflect, self-rejuvenate, and re-energize yourself. And that would be the 12th and the 13th. This is where you want to focus your energies on yourself. Your energies are very focused here. They're very positive on yourself. You'll also find that these are good days where, to do any rest and relaxing. The energy is easy on these days. So, definitely go for a massage, do a facial, take a long bath and, focus on yourself. Do some self-reflecting, maybe do some self-journaling. Do some yoga, some meditating. These are all things that are very good for you. Now, moving on to December. So, Leo, your best money days for December are the 11th, 12th, and 13th. These are where you'll find that money flow is coming in very easily on these days. You're able to manifest money on these days. If you need to borrow money, best days to do that. If you've lent out money, best days to get your money back. Now, if you have to do some invoicing, if you have to do some billing, good days for that as well, because people are more readily able to pay back on these days as well. Now, if you want to learn about the markets, then the 19th and 20th are good days for you to do that. You'll easily understand the markets better on these days. If you want to invest further, then the 5th and 6th are your good days for that. If you want to take profits, then the 11th, 12th, and 13th are good days for that. So again, this is not professional advice. Speak to a professional for that. This is not financial advice. Now, moving on to your career. That would be the 3rd, 4th, and 30th. These are good days for you to focus your energies at work. Focus all your energies on getting tasks done. Your efforts, the energies that you're putting in there will get recognized by your superiors, by your coworkers. If you have any meetings, they'll go in your favor. If you have any presentations, they'll go very well on these days. So take advantage of this energy. Now, moving on to your honey days. If you're married, the 24th, 25th are very good days for you to do some bonding with your partner. You'll definitely feel more connected on these days. You'll feel that the support is there from your spouse, and they're actually more receptive to you. So if you need to have a discussion with them, good days to do that as well. Now, if you're single, then the 19th and 20th are your best days for the date, because the energies are very easygoing, very romantic. This is a very pleasurable energy, the 19th and 20th. Now, if you're students, then definitely the 19th and 20th would be good for your focus, your concentration, for getting any work done, any assignments done, because the clarity of mind is there. So you're very easy. You'll have an easier time to absorb the information. You can take it in more easily. Now let's look at your caution days. So the panel on the red, those are your days that you have to be a little bit more mindful of the energies on those days. Those are the days you want to keep your decisions pending. So don't make any decisions on these days, as you could make the wrong decisions. The chances are more likely that you'll make the wrong decisions on those days due to the clarity of mind isn't there, and also the energies around you are a little bit manipulative. So people around you could actually make you make wrong decisions as well. So best thing to do is just keep them pending for the more positive dates of the month. Now, let's look at the dates individually. Oh, first, I just want to make mention that if you have any court dates, if you have any meetings, any negotiations, any appointments, these are not good days for that as well, because the energy is not in your favor. So that means the outcome of those things would also be not in your favor. So definitely put them for the more positive dates in the calendar. Now, let's really break it down. So when we're looking at the 7th and 8th, then you're looking at unexpected expenses. Things could just pop up. You could also have health-related issues. You could also feel very low on these days. This is where the energies are very low. They're wanting to self-isolate. They're kind of sad energy. It's like where, you want to put yourself in a cocoon. You don't really want to be around anybody on these days. It's just that kind of energy. Now, on the 21st, 22nd, 23rd, these are days that you have to be a little bit more mindful, because the energy on the 7th and 8th is where you want to self-isolate. This energy is very different. This is where, you're very irritated. The energy around you is very irritated, which means you could very easily get into an argument with someone. And this is why I say put it into your calendar so you could be mindful of this energy. Because if you're mindful of this energy and you're getting irritated, then you are aware that this is the energy feeling that you are getting right now. And then you can actually manage the conflicts a little bit better. Okay. If you're aware, then, you're able to work around the energy because you're understanding that this is what it is, right? So definitely, mark it down in your calendar, make note of it, and let this energy pass. And again, you could also have expenses on these days as well. Just be mindful that you don't do any overspending on these days as well. Now, the 26th and 27th, this is where you have to be a little bit mindful of the stress levels, because you're definitely going to feel kind of stressed here. You're going to feel overwhelmed. You're going to feel like you are dealing with too much. You have too much on your plate. So again, just let these energies kind of pass. You have a lot of really good positive days. So all the things you want to accomplish, definitely plan them for the better days. That's why I say mark it down in your calendar. Now, the best days for you to do your rest, relaxation, self-reflection are the 9th and 10th. These are days where the energies are positive. You're focused on yourself. You're looking good. You're feeling good. The energies are there. Good times for you to do some meditation, some yoga, and really collect the energies so that, you're making best use of the energies around you. So again, I just want to make mention that this is for Leo Vedic ascendant sign. So if you're using Western astrology or if you're using moon sign, these dates will not be accurate. So definitely, if you don't have your ascendant sign, you could look it up very easily online by putting in your date, your time, your place of birth, and you can very easily get it on any website online. Thank you so much for watching today. Virgo, welcome back to AstroTeena. This is your Vedic calendar for November and December 2025. Again, I just want to make mention that this is for Virgo Vedic Ascendant. Please don't use Western astrology or your moon sign for this for accurate date predictions. So let's look at your November calendar. So let's begin with your money days. So your best money days are the 17th and 18th. This is where you'll find that you have liquid money in your hands. Money comes to you easily on these days, and you're able to manifest money more easily on these days as well. Which means if you've lent out money, these are good days to get your money back. And if you want to borrow money, it's also a good time to ask. If you're invoicing, if you're doing any billing, good days for that as well. Now, if you want to learn about money, then the 24th, 25th, and 26th are your best days for that. And if you want to take profit, if you're in the markets, then the 17th, 18th are your best days for that. Again, this is not financial advice. Speak to a professional for that. Now let's look at career. For career, the 8th and 9th are your best career days. This is where you'll find that your the efforts that you're putting in at work are getting recognized by your superiors, and your coworkers are actually very supportive. If you have any meetings coming up, then these are really good days for that, as you'll find that your presentations will go very well. Now for your love days, if you're married, your honey days are the 2nd, the 3rd, the 29th, and the 30th. These are good romantic bonding times with your partner. You'll find that their energies are very receptive to you, and romance is in the air on these days. So definitely, if you need to have a discussion with your partner, these are good days for that as well. Again, like I said, they're very receptive to you on these days. Now, if you're single, then your best days would be the 24th, 25th, and 26th. This is where you'll find that the energy is very easygoing. It's very romantic, very creative. Spontaneity is in the air, and you're in the mood for pleasure on these days. So definitely good days for singles to go out on that date. Now, if you are a student, these are days that you'll find that your focus, your concentration is really sharp. You have a very clear mind on these days, so you're actually able to absorb information very easily on these days. So definitely make use of this energy. Now let's look at your caution days. This is the red panel on the side. These are days that you have to be a little bit more mindful. This is what I say, mark down in your calendar. These are days you want to keep your decisions pending, as you could very easily make the wrong decisions, either under the influence of someone else, or that you're not thinking clearly during the influence of these dates. Also, if you have any court dates, if you have any negotiations, if you have any meetings, any appointments, these are days that you'll find that the energy, because it's not in your favor, the results will also not be in your favor. So best thing to do is postpone it to a more favorable time. Now, let's really break it down. So the 12th and 13th, these are where you can have unexpected expenses. You can have health related issues. The energy during the 12th and 13th is a very low energy. So actually you're actually going to feel kind of low, a little sad. You might want to self-isolate, self-cocoon yourself. This is where you're not feeling supported. You're not feeling loved, and you feel misunderstood. It's just that kind of energy. And now let's look at the 1st, 27th, and 28th. Now, this is a very different energy than the 12th and 13th. 12th and 13th is a low energy. The 1st, 27th, and 28th, this is a very irritated energy, okay? Which means the energies within you, the energies around you are very irritated. That's why I was saying, if you have any court dates, these are not good days for that, especially the 1st, 27th, and 28th. These are days that you could actually get into an argument with someone because, again, the energies are very easily irritated because the buildup is already there. So be mindful of your health, be mindful of that irritating energy, and also expenses. Make sure that you're being very mindful of your expenses on these days as well. You could also have challenges, you could also have energies that are very competing. It's a very competing kind of energy as well. So now let's look at the 4th and the 5th. This is where you want to be mindful of your stress level. This is where, you're going to feel very stressed on these days, either due to your own circumstances, your own situations, or anything that's related to family as well. So be mindful of that. Now, your best days for yourself, where you want to focus your energies on yourself, are the 14th, 15th, and 16th. Those are your days where you want to recharge yourself. You want to relax and rest and focus the energies towards yourself. The rest of the days are towards everybody else. These are your days. So go for that, massage, that facial, that, go do some meditation, do some self-reflecting, all these things that help you bring energy back to yourself. So now let's move on to December. Now, for your December calendar, your best money days are the 14th and 15th. This is where you'll find that you have money in hand very easily. And if you need to borrow money, good days to ask for money on these days. And if you've lent out money, this is a good time to ask for that money back. If you need to invoice, if you need to bill, good days for that as well. Now, if you want to learn about the markets, if you want to study the markets, then the 21st, 22nd, and 23rd are your best days where things will really click. You'll start to understand the markets better on these days. So definitely spend some time if that's what you're interested in doing. You'll see that this energy is definitely supporting that. So again, this is not financial advice. Speak to a professional when it comes to your finances. Regarding your career, the 5th and 6th are your best career days. This is where you'll find that the work environment is supportive to you. The efforts that you're putting in are actually getting results. If you have a presentation, if you have meetings, they're more likely to go in your favor. So definitely good days for that. Now let's look at love. Now, if you're married, the 26th, the 27th are your best. So they're your best love days. So this is where you'll find that your partner is very receptive to you. They're very supportive to you. They want to spend time with you. So the bonding is very easy on these days. Now, if you're single, then the 21st, 22nd, and 23rd are your best days for to go out on that date. Date night is going to be very creative, very fun, very spontaneous. Love and romance will be in the air on these days. Now, if you're a student and you have an assignment to do, if you have a test to study for, then the 21st, 22nd, and 23rd are your best days for that. Clarity of mind will definitely be there, and your focus, your concentration will be very sharp. So definitely make use of this energy. Now moving on to the red panel, your caution days. This is the section of the calendar where you have to be a little bit mindful. Again, keep your decisions pending. Try not to make decisions on these days, as you could make the wrong decision, either under the influence of someone or you don't have clarity of mind because the energy isn't supportive to you. So that means any decisions you make will be against you. Now, also be mindful if you have any court dates, if you have any negotiations, any meetings, any appointments, they will also not go in your favor on these days. Again, the energy is not supporting you on these days. That's why. So you want to schedule them in for the days that are more favorable to you so that you get the results that you want. That's why these calendars are very important. That's why I say mark it down. Now let's really break it down. Now, if you're looking at the 9th and 10th, these are days where you could have unexpected expenses. You could have health-related issues, and you could also have very low energy. This is where you just don't feel mood-wise. You don't feel well. You could feel very low. You could want to self-isolate. You also don't feel loved. You don't feel supported. You don't feel like, you're understood. It's just a low kind of energy. So I would say let this energy pass. Now let's look at the 24th and 25th. This is where you are feeling kind of irritated. The energy is very different than the 9th and 10th. That's a very low energy. The 24th and 25th, that's a very irritated energy. That's an energy that actually you can very easily get into an argument with someone just because, you're already irritated within and the energies around you are also irritated. So very, very easy to get into an argument. But this is why I say mark it down on your calendar. If you're aware of this energy, then you know exactly what's happening. And then your awareness actually brings to the forefront what's going on. And then you can kind of manage this energy. And then you'll see that, the red panel isn't as scary anymore because you're able to manage it. That's why it's so important to mark it into your calendar. Now, moving on to the 1st, 2nd, 28th, and 29th. This is where you're actually going to feel kind of stressed. You're going to feel overwhelmed. It's just, you feel overburdened, overwhelmed, overstressed. So you really need to kind of let this energy kind of pass. You could be dealing with stress related to, family-related issues could come up as well. So be mindful of that. Now moving on to yourself, focusing on yourself. The good positive days where you can put the energies towards yourself are the 11th, 12th, and 13th. This is where you want to direct the energies towards yourself. Rest, relaxation, self-reflection, do some meditation, do some yoga, some self-journaling. All these things will actually help to regenerate yourself, to energize yourself. You'll also find that you're looking really good on these days. You're feeling good. You have better hair days on these days as well. And those are always very welcomed, right, Virgos? So again, I just want to make mention that this is for Virgo ascendant sign, Vedic astrology. If you're using Western, these dates will not be accurate. So please make sure that you're getting your ascendant sign first, okay? Again, thank you so much for watching today. Hello and welcome back, Libra. This is your November and December 2025 Vedic calendar. Now, this video is for Libra Vedic ascendant sign. If you're using your Western astrology, if you're using your moon sign, these dates will not be as accurate. If you want very precise dates, then you definitely have to use your Vedic ascendant sign. So let's begin with November, beginning with money. Now, your best money days are the 19th, 20th, and 21st. These are days that you want to be, you want to do some money manifestation on these days because the money flow will come in very easily on these days. You'll find that the resistance is not there. So if you need to borrow money, it's a good time to do that. And also if you've lent out money, it's a good time to get that money back. If you need to invoice people that owe you money, it's a good time for that as well. You'll see it comes back more easily. Now, if you need to learn about the markets, you're trying to study the markets, the 1st, the 27th, and 28th are great days for that. You'll see that you're actually able to understand the markets better on these days. Again, this is not financial advice. Speak to a professional for that. Now, moving on to career. Now, for career, the 10th and 11th are your best career days. These are days that, the efforts that you put in at work will get noticed. They'll get recognition. If you have any meetings, if you have any presentations, they'll go in your favor. If you need support from your coworkers, also a good time to ask there. The collaboration will be available to you. Now, looking at your love life, if you're married, the 4th and 5th are great days for you to do some bonding with your spouse. Romance will definitely be in the air on those days, and they'll be receptive to your energy on these days. So if you need to have a discussion with them, good days for that as well. Now, if you're single, the 1st, 27th, and 28th are good days for that, to go out on that date, because the energy is very creative. It's very spontaneous. It's very pleasure-seeking, and it's fun-loving. And so, there's romance in the air. So it's good days for you to go out on that date. Now, if you're a student, then the 1st, the 27th, and 28th are your good focus days. This is where you want to focus all your attention on your studies. If you have an assignment to do, good time to do that as well, because the efforts that you're putting in towards your studies will definitely, you'll be able to absorb all the information. You'll be able to get the efforts recognized by your teachers as well on these days. If you're looking to have a discussion with your mentor, if you're looking to have a discussion with your teacher, good days to do that. If you need to learn a topic that, you're struggling with, also good days for that as well, because you're able to easily absorb the learning that you're doing on these days. So basically the mental clarity is very there. The focus is very sharp on these days. Now, let's move to the red panel, which is your caution days. These are the days that you really want to mark down on your calendar. These are days you want to keep your decisions pending, as there is a very high chance that you could make the wrong decision due to the influence under other people, or, you don't have the clarity of mind to make the right decision, and then therefore you regret your decisions afterwards. You'll definitely look back and think, I should have decided differently. Now, these are also days that are a little bit challenging. If you have court dates, if you have any negotiations, meetings, appointments, these are not favorable days where you'll find that the results are not in your favor because the energy here is not in your favor. So definitely, plan it so that, you're having these kind of events on more positive days. That way the energy is supporting you, and then the results will be in your favor. Okay, this is why I make the calendar, so you could actually use it to your advantage. And then you can, be mindful of the energies. As if there's anything challenging, the awareness actually helps bring down the level of challenge that you're dealing with. So now let's really break it down. 14th, 15th, and 16th, this is where you want to be mindful of your energy. It could be very low. This is where you're feeling kind of like you want to self-isolate. You're not feeling supported. You're not feeling loved. You're feeling lonely. And, you just want to be alone on these days. This is also where you could have unexpected expenses. So be mindful of that as well. You could have, minor health related issues as well. So, just keep that in mind. Now, moving to the 2nd, 3rd, 29th, and 30th. Now, this is a very different energy than 14th, 15th, and 16th, which is very low. The 2nd, 3rd, and 29th, and 30th, this is a very irritated energy. Okay, now this energy is very irritated within you, and the energy around you is also very irritated, which means you could very easily, over very small things, get into an argument with someone. Which means if you're not aware, this is why I say mark it down in your calendar, and you will see out of all the days, mark these down in your calendar, as this could really help you manage the energy around you. Also on these days, be mindful of your health, be mindful of any expenses. Try not to spend where it's unnecessary on these days. That's just kind of wasteful spending, because this energy just kind of produces that kind of situation. Now, the 6th and 7th, this is where you're actually going to feel a little bit stressed. You're going to feel overwhelmed. You're going to feel like, you overburdened. So be mindful of this energy. So, definitely mark it down in your calendar, so that way you can kind of better manage this energy. You can't fully avoid it, but you can better manage it, so that way the effects of it are very minimal. Now moving on to better days, which are the 17th and 18th. These are really good days. These are your days. These are days where you want to focus your energies towards yourself. This is where you want to do some resting, relaxation, some self-reflecting, do some self-journaling, maybe do some yoga, some meditating. This is where you'll find that you're feeling more positive, more lighthearted. The positivity is more in the air here. The mood is just lighter. And also you're looking good, you're feeling good, because the energy is positive on these days. So there you go, Libra. That was your November 2025. So now let's look at December 2025. Now let's start with money days. Your best money days are the 16th, 17th, and 18th. This is where you'll find that money manifestation is really easy. The money flow is really easy, so ask for money on these days. If you need to borrow money, good days for that. Good days if you want to apply for a loan. If you've lent out money, good days to get that money back. If you have invoices to send out, good days for that as well. The resistance isn't there, so you'll get your money back easily. Now, moving to the 24th and 25th. These are good days for you to learn about the markets. Now, if you want to study the markets, these are good days where actually things will make more sense to you with what's happening in the markets. So definitely do that if that's what you're into. Again, this is not financial advice, so definitely speak to a professional for that. Now, let's move on to career. Your best career days are the 7th and 8th. This is where you'll find that your reputation at work is on a peak here. You'll find that your meetings will go well on these days. You could actually get a lot of support from your superiors, from your coworkers on these days as well. If you have any meetings, presentations, they'll definitely go well. Moving on to your love days. That would be the 1st, the 2nd, 28th, and 29th. If you're married, this is a great time for you to do some bonding with your partner. Go out on that date. Spend some time together. This is a time where you could actually, strengthen your bond. Now, if you're single, then the 24th, 25th are those optimal days to go out on that date, because the energy on those days will be very romantic, very spontaneous, very pleasure-seeking type of energy. So good days for a date. And if you're a student, then the 24th, 25th are great days for you to do some of your schoolwork, your tests, your assignments. Good times for you to do your study because the mental clarity will be there on those days. So your focus will be very sharp, your concentration will be really good, and your ability to absorb information will be very strong on these days. And now moving on to the red section of the calendar, which is your caution days. Again, the red panel, you want to be mindful of these days. Keep your decisions pending, as your decisions could be made under the influence of people who are trying to take advantage of you. You could also not have the clarity of mind here, so you can make the wrong decisions. So just be, mindful of that. And also the energy here is a little bit challenging, which means it's not in your favor. So if you have any court dates, if you have any appointments, if you have any negotiations, they will not go in your favor. So definitely don't do them during these dates. That's why I provide the calendar so you can mark everything down, take a screenshot of the calendar so you can use it properly. Now let's really break it down. Looking at the 11th, 12th, and 13th, this is where you could have unexpected expenses, you could have health-related issues, and also your energy is going to be very low. This is where you could feel sad, you could feel like you want to self-isolated, you don't feel supported here. Okay, now moving on to the 26th, 27th, this is a very different energy than the 11th, 12th, and 13th, which is a very low energy. The 26th and 27th is a very irritated energy, which means you're very easily irritated. The energy around you is also very irritated, meaning you could very easily get into a conflict with someone. So this is why I say mark it down in your calendar so you're aware of this energy. If you're aware of it, you can actually manage it better, which means the effect of this energy will be minimized. Okay, now moving on to the 3rd, 4th, and 30th of the month. This is where you'll notice that your stress levels are very high during these days. This is where you could feel very stressed, very overwhelmed, very overburdened, either by life itself or, family-related issues. So be mindful of that. Now, looking at more positive days would be the 14th, 15th. These are your days. This is where your energy is positive. You have clarity of mind here. These are good days for you to focus on you. Rest, relax, do some self-reflecting, do some self-journaling, do some yoga, meditating, go out for a walk, enjoy your time with yourself. This is where you want to regenerate yourself, rejuvenate yourself, re-energize yourself. So really good days for that. So there you go, Libra. This was your November, December calendar for 2025. Again, I just want to make mention, this is for Libra Vedic ascendant sign. These dates will not be accurate if you're using Western astrology or if you're using moon sign. Okay, so again, you can easily find that online. Put in your date of birth, your time of birth, and your place of birth, and you should be able to find your Vedic ascendant sign. Thank you so much for watching. Hello and welcome back, Scorpio. This is your November and December horoscope for 2025. Let's begin with November. And before I begin, I just want to make mention this is for Scorpio ascendant sign for Vedic astrology. This is not Western astrology. This is not your moon sign. Please do find your Vedic ascendant sign for accurate date prediction. Okay. If you don't have it, if you don't know it, you can find it very easily online. You need your date of birth, your time of birth, your place of birth, and it's very readily available online. Now, let's begin with November, beginning with your money days. So your best money days are the 22nd, 23rd of the month. This is where you'll have liquid money on hand. This is where money will flow to you easily. You're very easily able to manifest money on these days, which means the resistance isn't there, which means if you want to borrow money, it'll easily come to you. If you've lent out money and you need it back, good days to ask for that money back. If you want to apply for a loan, get a credit card, these are good days for that. Also, if you have invoicing to do, if you have billing to do, good days for that as well. Now, if you want to study the markets, the 2nd, 3rd, 29th, 30th, best days for that, you'll see that you're able to better understand the markets on these days. This is not financial advice. Please speak to a professional for that. Now, moving on to your career days. The best days are the 12th and the 13th. This is where you'll see that the work environment is very supportive to you, whether you have presentations, whether you have meetings, whether you have a discussion with your coworkers or your boss. It's more likely to go in your favor. So definitely good days for that. Now moving on to love. Now, if you're married, your best honey days are the 6th and 7th. This is where you'll find that you're able to better bond with your spouse. So it's a good time to go out on that date, to spend some time with them. If you're single, then the 2nd, 3rd, 29th, and 30th are your best days for that. You'll see that it's more of a romantic energy on these days. So these are good days to go out on a date. If you are a student, then the 2nd, 3rd, 29th, and 30th are good days for you to actually do some studying, because the clarity of mind is there, your focus, your ability to concentrate is there, and you're able to absorb the information that you're actually taking in. You really understand it well. So definitely make use of this energy. Now moving on to your caution days. This is where you want to keep your decisions pending, as you could make the wrong choices on these days. So definitely be mindful of that. And this energy here on these days are a little bit challenging. It's not in your favor, which means if you have court dates, if you have appointments, if you have negotiations, if you have meetings, chances are more likely that they'll go against you, and because the energy is not in your favor. Okay, so definitely be mindful of that. Now, let's really break it down. If you're looking at the 17th, 18th, on those days, you're going to notice that your energy is very low. This is where you don't feel supported. You don't feel like you want to be around people. You want to kind of be alone. You could also have unexpected expenses. You could have health-related issues. So be mindful of that. Now, moving to the 4th and 5th, this is where you could have health-related issues. You could also have expenses, but this is also a very irritated kind of energy, which means you could also very easily get into an argument with someone because your energies are irritated. The energies around you are irritated, which means, you could very easily get into a fight if you mark this down in your calendar and you're aware of this energy. And best thing to do is also look at other people, and if you know their ascendant sign, watch this. You'll see they're very irritated on the days that I give them, and then you know how to work around people because it's very accurate. And this is why I say take a screenshot of the calendar so you could actually watch these dates and see the energies and how the energy is flowing in your chart for the month. Okay, so now let's move to the 8th and 9th. This is where you're going to feel kind of stressed. You're going to feel overburdened, overwhelmed. It could be, family-related issues. It also could be that you're overwhelmed with things going on in your life as well. So be mindful of that. Now, moving on to the 19th, 20th, and 21st. These are days that are for you. These are your days. This is where you want to rest, relax, and do some self-reflection on these days. This is where you want to recharge your energy. The energy here is flowing inwards. So that means, it's a very positive energy. Good day for you these are good days for you to spend on yourself, actually. Okay. These also are days that you'll feel more positive. You're looking good. You're feeling good. Good hair days as well. So, again, those are always very welcomed. So now let's move on to December 2025 for Scorpio. Your best money days are the 19th and 20th. These are good days where you should have money on hand. Your best days to learn about money are the 26th and 27th. So to learn about the markets. And if you're already in the markets, then the 11th, 12th, and 13th are great days for you to invest further. If you want to take profits, then the 19th and 20th would be good days for that. Now, this is not financial advice, so please speak to a professional for that. Moving on to career. The 9th and 10th are your best good career days. This is where you'll find that the work environment is really supportive to you, and also your ability to do your tasks at work are actually more manageable, more doable, and the results of the efforts that you're putting in actually get noticed at work as well from your coworkers and also your superiors as well. Now moving on to love and romance. Now if you're married, the 3rd, 4th, and the 30th are your best romance days. This is a good time for you to bond with your spouse, with your partner, and also this is a good time to do some collaboration conversation with them because they're going to be supportive. Their energies are very receptive to you on these days. So again, that makes good time for you to actually do some discussions with them. If you need to have a talk with them, it's a good time for that. Now, if you're single, then the 26th and 27th are good days for date night. If you're a student, then the 26th and 27th are your good focus concentration days. This is where the things that you study, actually you absorb it very nicely. You're able to understand it very nicely. It makes more sense on these days because the clarity of mind is really there. And now let's move on to the red section of the calendar, which is your caution days. These are the days you want to be mindful of any decisions that need to be made. Please keep your decisions pending, as the chances of you making the wrong decision will definitely be more higher on these days. This is also a very challenging energy. So this is an energy which is not in your favor, which means basically if you have any court cases, if you have any negotiations, if you have any meetings, appointments, they won't go in your favor on these days because the energy is just not supporting you here. Now let's really break it down. Looking at the 14th, 15th, you could have health-related issues. You could have unexpected expenses. You could also have very low energy on this day where you feel like you want to self-isolate. You feel kind of low and down. You don't feel supported on these days. The 1st, 2nd, 28th, and 29th, these are energies that are very irritated. So you could very easily get into an argument with with someone around you because your energies are very irritated and their energy is also very irritated too. So it makes it very easy for disputes to happen around this time. You could also have health-related issues. You could also have expenses that you occur during this time. So be mindful of any spending that you do because you're going to feel like it was unnecessary afterwards. Moving on to the 5th and 6th, this is where you feel like you're overstressed. This is where you feel overwhelmed. So you want to just lay low, let this energy pass. Now, the 16th, 17th, 18th, these are really good days for you to do some rest, relaxation, self-reflecting, good days to focus the energy towards yourself. The energy here is very positive, and moving forward, the week ahead of the week of the 16th is actually a good week for you. So definitely make good use of that. There you go, Scorpio. This was your November, December 2025 monthly calendars. I hope you take a screenshot of these so that you can really pay attention to these dates and see how accurate they are. Again, this is for Scorpio Vedic Ascendant. If you're using Western or you're using moon sign, this is not going to be accurate. So make sure you're using the right sign. Again, it's Scorpio Vedic Ascendant sign. Thank you. Hello and welcome, Sagittarius, to your November and December 2025 calendar. I'll begin with November. So let's start with your money days. Now, November 24th, 25th, and 26th. Those are really good days for to have money in hand, which means the money flow will be really good for these days. Those are also great days for manifesting money as well. So if you need to borrow money, it's a good day to ask. If you've lent out money, it's also a good day to ask for that money back. Now, if you have invoicing to do, if you have billing to do, this is also a good time to send those as well, as the resistance in, giving money to you is very low on this day. So you can manifest money really easily. Now, if you are learning about the markets and you're looking to get into the markets and see what's going on with the markets, then the 4th and the 5th are really good days to learn about strategies, about what's going on. You'll easily pick up the trends. Now, if you are wanting to invest further, then the 17th and 18th are good days for that. And if you are looking to take profit, then 24th, 25th, and 26th are good days for that. Again, this is not financial advice, so please do speak to a professional for that. Moving on to career. And now let's move on to career. 14th, 15th, and 16th are really good days for your career. So these are days where you'll find that your work environment is really supportive. Your higher ups, your coworkers will also be in a very supporting mood on these days. If you have meetings, if you have presentations, they should go well on these days. And now moving on to your love life. Now, for those of you who are married, the 8th and 9th are really good days for you to create some romantic bonding with your partner. It's also a good time for you to see that your partner is very receptive to you. So if you need to have a conversation with them, you need to collaborate with them in some way, then this is a good time for that. If you're single, then the 4th and the 5th are really good romantic days. So those are really great days for a date. Now, if you're students, then I would say the 4th and the 5th are really good days as far as your studies, to focus, to learn something. Your focus, your concentration, your sense of clarity is really good on those days. So do make the most of that energy. Now moving on to the most important part, which is your caution days, and that's in the red panel on the side. Now these days are really important. These days you want to be mindful of any decisions that you are making. It's best to keep those decisions pending. Why? This is because the energies are on these days, they're not very well, I would say that your mind will not be very clear. And also, the energies around you could be a little bit manipulative. So you could make decisions which are not in your best interest. Because this energy is very challenging and this energy is not supporting you. So I would say definitely hold off on any decisions, keep those pending. This energy is also an energy, like I said, it's not supporting you. So if you have court cases, if you have any kind of negotiations, appointments, meetings, they won't go in your favor on these days. You'll find them very challenging. So definitely, if you want to make most of these calendars that I do for you guys, best thing to do is take a screenshot so you can be mindful of these days. And you can see, it'll only take you a month or two to actually see that these dates really are really on point. Now, like I was saying, the red panel. So let's really break that down. So now the 19th, 20th, and 21st. These are days where your energies are going to feel kind of low. You could have unexpected expenses. You could have health issues. But your energy, your mood, it's going to feel very low. You're going to feel like you want to self-isolate. You're going to want to, spend time alone. And also you're going to feel like you're not being supportive by those around you, your friends and family. So you just want to spend time alone during this time. The overall energy feel is very low. Now, moving on to the 6th and 7th, this is where the energy is completely different. This is a very irritated energy, which means the energy within you and the energy around you is very irritated, which means you could very easily get into disputes or arguments with people. So be really mindful. This is why I say take a snapshot of the calendar and then watch the energies. And now that you're more aware of this energy, you're actually going to be able to manage this situation better because you're aware of it. So you can pull back, you can lay low. And that makes the whole, the cautionary part of it a little bit more manageable. Okay. If you're not aware of it, then all sorts of things happen. But because you're aware of it, you can pull back. And that, gives less effects, less negative effects anyways. Now, if you're looking at the 10th and 11th, this is a time where you'll feel very stressed. You're going to feel overwhelmed. You're going to feel like you have too much to handle, too much on your plate. You could be dealing with your own issues related to family as well. So those 2 days are a little bit stressful. So you might want to de-stress by resting and relaxing and reflecting on the 22nd and 23rd, because those are your days. Those are the days that you want to focus on yourself, where you are drawing into yourself. So basically you want to give yourself time. So whether you're, self-journaling, whether you're meditating, doing yoga, whether you're just taking a walk, and doing some reflecting, you just want to get your energies back and you want to recharge yourself. So that's November for you. So let's take a look at December's calendar. So looking at December, your money days, the 21st, 22nd, and 23rd. Those are really good money days. You have a lot of really good money days. This is a money month for you. So you have the 21st, 22nd, and 23rd. You should have money in hand on these days, which means basically that money comes to you very easily. If you have lent out money, this is a good time to ask for it back. It'll come back to you really easily. And if you've lent out money to someone, it's a good time to ask for it back. And if you're invoicing or doing any bills, it's also a good time for that as well. Now, if you want to learn about the markets, then the 1st, 2nd, 28, and 29 are good days to learn about the market. You'll pick up on the trends very easily. And if you want to invest further into the markets, then the 14th and the 15th are good days for that. Again, this is not financial advice. Please speak to a financial advisor for that. Now, regarding career, the 11th, 12th, and 13th. These are really good career days. This is where you'll get a lot of work done. In your work environment will be very supportive to you. They'll also recognize the efforts that you're putting in. So you'll get recognized, you'll get credit for the work that you're putting in at work. If you have presentations, if you have meetings on these days, they should go in your favor. Now, as far as marriage and, love life for singles, let's take a look at your honey days. Now, for those of you who are married, the 5th and 6th are really good days for you to bond with your spouse, with your partner. It's a romantic time, and so you should make the most of this energy. Now, if you're single, then you have the 1st, the 2nd, the 28th, and the 29th. These are really good days for you to do some dating, go out, to spend some time with your special somebody. The energy is very light and airy and romantic, and it's a good energy. If you're a student, the 1st, the 2nd, the 28th, and the 29th are really good days for you to do some learning, some focus. Your concentration will be really good on this day. Your mind will be very clear and very sharp, and you should be able to absorb a lot of information very easily. Now moving on to the caution days for December. This is the red section on the side. These dates are very important. This is where you want to actually really take note of these days. So basically, this section in the red, you want to make sure that you are not doing any decision making during this time, these days. These days, your decision making abilities will not be very good. Chances are you will second guess yourself and make the wrong decision. And it also can be that someone could manipulate you into making wrong decisions here. So definitely keep those decisions pending. This is also, these are dates that are challenging for your energy. This is a very challenging energy, which means it's not in your favor. So it's going against your energies. So basically, if you have any court cases, if you have any meetings, if you have appointments, negotiations, these days are not the most favorable for you. The outcomes will go more against you than for you, and it'll be challenging. Now let's really break down these days, okay? Now the 16th, 17th, and 18th, this is where you'll find you'll have unexpected expenses, health issues, but your energies will be very low. Your mood will be very low. You'll feel like you want to spend more time alone in isolation. You will feel like you're not being supported by the people around you. And it's just a very low energy in general. Now, if you're looking at the 3rd, 4th, and the 30th, this is a very totally different energy, okay? This is a very irritated energy, and it's very different than the 16th, 17th, and 18th energy. This energy, you have to be a little bit more mindful because the energy here is irritated. You're irritated. The energy around you is irritated, meaning the people around you are irritated. So which can cause a lot of conflict, which can get you into arguments very easily. But if you're mindful of this energy, you can manage it. So then the effect isn't so strong. That's why I say take a snapshot of these days and watch around this time. The days I give you are exact. So definitely take a screenshot and see this calendar for yourself. Now, so the best way to mitigate this is actually be aware. And then also, if you know the people in your life know their ascendant sign, their Vedic ascendant sign. Also see their days and see exactly how they're behaving. It goes exactly by the calendar. Now, these are the days that you could also have health issues. You could also have expenses, but you want to be mindful of these expenses. You just don't want to be incurring expenses mindlessly, okay? Because you'll definitely regret these expenses later on. Now, the 7th and 8th, this is a totally different energy. This is a stressed energy. This is where you're feeling overstressed. You're feeling overwhelmed. You're feeling overburdened, whether it's to do with your own life or to the life of the people around you, your family members. So definitely, you have these 2 days where you feel a little overstressed. But again, this month, your best days that you want to regenerate yourself, rejuvenate yourself, re-energize yourself. And the best days for that is the 19th and the 20th. Hello, Capricorn, to your horoscope for November and December 2025. So let's begin with the November calendar. Looking at your money days. The 1st, the 27th, and the 28th. These are really good money days for you. These are days that you should have money in hand. Money is easy to manifest on these days. If you need to borrow money, these are good days to ask for that. And if you've lent out money, these are good days for that as well. If you have billing or you have invoicing to do, great days for that. Now, if you want to learn about the markets, the 6th and the 7th are your best days for that. You should be able to understand the markets well on these days. Now, if you are already in the market and you want to invest further, then the 19th, 20th, and 21st are your best days for that. Now, if you want to take profit, the 1st, 27th, and 28th are good days for that. Again, this is not financial advice. Please speak to an advisor for that. Regarding your career, the best days are the 17th and 18th of November. These are good days for you to focus on putting a lot of effort into your work. Your work environment will be very supportive. Your coworkers, your higher ups will actually see your efforts and appreciate your efforts. If you have meetings on these days, presentations, they should go well and in your favor. And now let's move on to your love life. For those of you who are married, the 10th and 11th are really good days for you to bond romantically with your partner. Their energies are very receptive to you on these days. If you're single, then the 6th and the 7th are good days for you. This is a very romantic energy. For those of you who are students, then the 6th and the 7th are good days for you to do some learning, because these are days where your mind will be more clear. You're able to focus more. Your concentration will be very strong on these days. Now moving on to the red section of the calendar, which is the caution days. Now, these days you have to be a little bit mindful of your decision making. Keep your decisions pending, as you could be making the wrong decisions during this time. This is also a time, these days in the red, they're actually a little bit more challenging energy, which means the energy during this time is not in your support, basically. And I will break this down further by the dates listed there. Now, the 22nd and 23rd, those days are days where your energy will be quite low. On these 2 days, you're going to want to self-isolate. You're going to feel a little bit lonely, a little bit sad energy here. And you just don't really want to deal too much with people on these 2 days. You're also going to feel like you're not getting the support that you desire, really. You could also have unexpected expenses. You could have health issues, so be mindful of that. On the 8th and 9th, this is a very different energy. This is where you could have health issues, you could have expenses, so be mindful of that. But the energy here is more irritated, whereas the 22nd, 23rd is a very low energy. The 8th and 9th is a very irritated energy, meaning you could very easily get into an argument with someone. So definitely take a screenshot of this calendar and be mindful of these days, and you'll see that these are on point. And if you know other people and their ascendant signs, you can also watch their dates and see how they're behaving according to the calendar. It's very, very on point. Now, the 12th and the 13th, these are days where you're going to feel kind of stressed. You're going to feel overwhelmed. You're going to feel overworked. You're going to feel almost overburdened. And you're not going to get very much done on these days. It's a lot of it's just a feeling of being overwhelmed and stressed. So it's 2 days, you need to let it pass. Overall, you have 6 days, which you have to be a little bit mindful. The rest of the days, you have really good money days. You have a good number of money days this month. So it's a good money month for you. But what I would say is definitely focus on especially on the 24th, 25th, and 26th. Those are really good days for you to recollect your energies, to rest, to relax. These are also good days for you to do some self-journaling, do some reading, spend some me time. Those are your days. Now moving on to December. Now, for December, your money days are the 24th and 25th. This is, again, where you'll have money in hand. Money comes to you easily. Great days for you to manifest money. If you want to learn about the markets, the 3rd, 4th, and 30th are good days for that. If you want to invest further into the market, the 16th, 17th, and 18th are good days for that. Again, this is not financial advice, so please speak to a professional for that. Moving on to career. Now for career, 14th and 15th are your best career days of the month. This is where you'll actually shine in the work environment. You'll get the support that you need, the recognition that you need at work. Good days for meetings, good day for presentations for you. Now let's look at love. Regarding love, if you're married, the 7th and 8th are really good days for you to maybe go out on a date, spend your time with your loved one. Your partner is going to be very receptive to you on this day, so if you need to have a chat with them, this is a great time for that as well. If you are single, then good date days are the 3rd, 4th, and the 30th. This is where the energy is very romantic, creative, spontaneous, and you're in the mood for pleasure on these days. If you're a student, the 3rd, 4th, and 30th are good days for you to do any assignments, do any tests, do any learning, because your focus, your concentration, your mind, clarity of mind is really there. So you're able to absorb the information that you're taking in really easily. Now moving on to the red section of the calendar, which is your caution days. So these are days you want to be mindful of your decision making. You want to keep your decisions pending. This energy is a little bit challenging. So basically, this energy is not in your favor, so it's working against you. So definitely these days, if you have court dates, if you have court dates, if you have negotiations, meetings, appointments, it's better to have those on more favorable dates, so that way the outcome is more in your favor. Here, first of all, you'll find it challenging, and secondly, the outcome will not be in your favor. So it's not a good idea, really. Now, let me really break it down by the dates. So the 19th and 20th, this is where you will find that you're feeling quite low. You could have unexpected expenses, health issues. You're going to want to self-isolate on these days. You're not feeling loved. You're not feeling supported. It's just that kind of a low energy. The 5th and the 6th is where you could have health issues. You could have expenses again. And this energy is a very irritated energy, where 19th, 20th is very low energy. 5th and 6th is very irritated energy, which means you could very easily get into a conflict with someone. So again, be mindful of the dates, so that way at least you can control yourself, and that will help you to manage situations better on these red days. Now moving on to the 9th and 10th. This is where you're going to feel stressed. Okay, you're going to feel overwhelmed and overstressed and overburdened with situations. So you just want to lay low and let this energy kind of pass. Now, the best days for you to collect your energies and rest, relax, self-reflect are the 21st, 22nd, and 23rd. Those are really good days for you to get your energies back, to regenerate, rejuvenate, reinvigorate yourself again. So there you go, Capricorn. That is your November and December calendar for 2025. Take a screenshot of it, so that way you have the dates on hand, and when you're and watch these dates, and you'll see that it's very much on point. Again, this is your Vedic ascendant sign. This is not Western astrology, and this is not using your moon sign. So please make sure that your Vedic ascendant sign is correct when you're watching these calendar videos. Thank you. Hello and welcome, Aquarius. This is your November and December 2025 astrology horoscope. This is for Aquarius Vedic ascendant sign. So make sure that you have your correct sign. And this is not Western astrology, and this is not using your moon sign Lagna either. So make sure that you have your Vedic ascendant sign for accurate dates. So let's look at November. So November, your money days are the 2nd, the 3rd, the 29th, the 30th. These are days that you should have money in hand. Money will come to you easier on these days. The money flow will be there for you on these days as well. So these are good days for you to ask for money that you've lent out. It's good to ask for money that you want to borrow. And it's good for manifesting money. Now, if you want to learn about the markets, the 8th and the 9th are really good days for that. If you want to invest further into the markets, then the 22nd and 23rd are good days for that. If you want to take profits, the 2nd, 3rd, 29th, and 30th should be good days for that. This is not financial advice, so please talk to a professional for that. Now, moving on to your career. The 19th, 20th, and 21st. These are good days for your career. This is where you'll find that your energies at work are being received really well. The efforts that you're putting in are definitely being appreciated. The co-workers are more supportive with you. They're more willing to work more easily with you. Your higher ups will also notice your efforts as well, so you should get credit that's due to you. Now moving on to your love life. If you're married, so the 12th and 13th are good days for you to bond with your partner. This is the time where you want to spend some romantic time with them, go out on a date. You'll find that they're very receptive to you on the 12th and 13th especially. Now, these are good days for you to have a talk with them if you have something to discuss, because they'll be more supportive to you. If you're single, the 8th and 9th are really good romantic days. So those are good date days. The energy for those days are very light and, very romantic and creative. So good days for that. If you're a student, then the 8th and 9th are good focused days for you. So you can really focus, you can concentrate, you could really study, you can really take information in well, meaning you could really absorb what you're studying. Now let's move on to the red section of the calendar, which is your caution days. Now, these dates listed here, these are dates that you want to be mindful of any decisions. Keep your decisions pending, as you could very easily make the wrong decisions here, which you will later regret. This is not an energy that you can actually think very clearly. So your thinking ability, your decision-making ability will be kind of a little bit foggy here, because this energy here is very challenging. And this energy here is very much, it's not in your favor, basically. So if you have court dates, if you have appointments, if you have negotiations, anything of that sort, signing papers, I would hold off. Don't do them on these days. Chances are very high. First of all, it'll be a challenging situation. And then secondly, the results will not be in your favor. So definitely don't do them on these days. You have a lot of very positive days in the month. Have them shifted over to the positive days, so that way the results are more in your favor. Now, let's really break down this energy. Now, looking at the 24th, 25th, and 26th, this is where you'll find that you'll have unexpected expenses. You will have health issues. You could, your energy will definitely be low on these days. You're going to want to self-isolate. You're going to want to be alone. You're not going to feel supported or loved. You're not going to feel like you want to be around people on these days. So it's a very low kind of energy. Now, looking at the 10th and 11th, this is again where you have health issues, you have expenses, but these are different. These expenses are somewhere where you're a little bit, on the 24th, 25th, 26th, those are unexpected things that could pop up. Whereas on the 10th and 11th, these are things you could be a little bit, mindless kind of spending. It's a little different. And also this energy here on the 10th and 11th, this is energy that is irritated, which meaning like your energy within you is very irritated, the energy around you. So people around you will be irritated during this time as well, the 10th and 11th. So you could very easily get into an argument during this time. But if you are mindful and you know that this energy is active at this time, you can be mindful of it, and then you can kind of lay low, or you could be mindful of your words or your actions so that you can't get into a full-blown conflict with someone. So this is how you manage it. So take a screenshot of it and be mindful of these dates. And if you know, your friends and family, their Vedic ascendant sign, you can also look at their calendar and see that they are having the dates being very activated for them as well. And now moving on to the 14th, 15th, and 16th. This is a very stressed energy. This is where you're going to feel very stressed. You're going to feel very overwhelmed and overburdened. It could have to do with your own life, the life of your family members. So definitely be mindful of that. I mean, you do have a lot of good money days. It's a good month for money. Now moving on to December. So your money days for December are the 26th, 27th. These are good days for you to have money in hand. The money flow should be good on these days. It's a good day. Those are good days for taking profits too if you're in the markets. If you want to learn about the markets, then the 5th and 6th are good days for that. If you want to invest further, 19th and 20th are good days for that. Again, this is not financial advice. Speak to a professional. Now moving on to career, your 16th, 17th, 18th are your career days. This means that these are the days that if you put in the work, if you put in the effort, you'll get the recognition for your work, and your superiors, your coworkers will definitely be more supportive towards you on these days. So these are good days for you to do a presentation, have a meeting at work. You'll see that everything's in your favor here. Now, moving to your love life, the best days for you if you're married would be the 9th and 10th. This is where you could, have that romantic energy is flowing in the air for you. Now, if you're single, then the 5th and 6th are good days for you to go out on that date. The energy here is very romantic, spontaneous, very, very creative type of energy where you feel like having pleasure during this day. Now moving on to your caution days for December, which would be in the red section here. These are the days you want to be mindful of your decision making. Your ability to make the right decision is very low here. So chances are you'll make the wrong decisions, either under pressure or under the influence of someone. So definitely keep those decisions pending. Tell them, I'll let you know in a day or two. If you have papers to sign, tell them you'll do it in a day or two. Let this energy pass, because during this time, these days are challenging energies. This means that the energy during these days is working against you. It's not working for you, which means the results will not be in your favor. So if you have a court date, if you have meetings, if you have negotiations, if you have anything to do of that sort, I would not do them on these days. It's very challenging and the results will not be in your favor. So why not do them on more favorable days? So that way, you're making the energy work for you. This is why I do the calendars. Now, moving on to the days here. Let me really break it down for you. So the 21st, 22nd, and 23rd, those are days that your energy is kind of very low. You're going to feel low on these days. You're going to feel like you're unsupported. You're going to feel like you want to spend time alone. You could have unexpected expenses. You could have health issues. So you're not going to be feeling your best on these days. On the 7th and 8th, again, you have to deal with expenses. You could have health issues. And the energy here is irritated. Whereas the 21st, 22nd, 23rd is very low energy. The 7th and 8th are very irritated energy, meaning you could very easily get into a conflict with someone. So you're feeling irritated within yourself and the energy outside yourself. So the people surrounding you were also going to be irritated on these days, the 7th and 8th. So take a screenshot of the calendar so that way you have this on hand, the dates, and then you can watch this energy working for yourself and you'll see it's very on point. Now moving on to the 11th, 12th, and 13th, this is where your energy is a little bit stressed. You're going to feel overwhelmed and stressed. My advice is always just to lay low on these days. Let the conflicts and the things that need to happen, but because you're aware of this energy, The things that could happen are very minimized because you yourself then are managing this energy. And if you know the Vedic ascendant sign of your family and your friends, you can also watch their calendars and see that the energy that you're seeing in them in those days are according to their calendar as well. So definitely that's a good thing to do as well. Take a screenshot of the calendar so you have the dates on hand in your phone, and look it up every week to see what the week ahead has for you. So this is how you make the most of these calendars. So there you go, Aquarius. This is your November and December 2025 horoscope. And please remember, this is for Aquarius Vedic ascendant sign. If you're using Western astrology or you're using Vedic moon sign, that's not going to work for these dates. If you want the calendars to be accurate for you, then you have to be using your Vedic ascendant sign. Thank you so much for watching today. Hello and welcome, Pisces. This is your November and December 2025 Vedic ascendant horoscope. Let's look at your November calendar. So your money days. Your money days are the 4th and 5th of the month. This is when you will find that your money comes to you easy on these days. The 4th and 5th are days where you should have money in hand. So if you need to borrow money, good day to ask for it. If you've lent out money, these are also good days to get your money back. You'll see that the resistance is not there, so the money actually flows easier to you. And if you want to learn about the markets, then the 10th and 11th are good days for you to see what's happening with the markets. You should be able to learn something new. It's very good days for that. Now, if you are someone who's already in the markets and you want to invest further, then the 24th, 25th, and 26th are really good days for that. Those are great days for you to invest further. Again, this is not financial advice. Please speak to a professional for that. Now, moving on to your career. Now, the 22nd, 23rd are really good career days for you. This is where your efforts will get noticed at work. If you have presentations, if you have meetings, the 22nd, 23rd are really good days for you. The energy is flowing in your direction here. Now, let's move on to your love life. The 14th, 15th, and 16th are really good if you're married. This is where you'll see that your energy is very much in sync with your partner, and you're feeling very much connected on these days. If you're single, then the 10th and 11th are good days to go out on that date. That's when you'll see that romance is in the air. Everything's feeling very light and very enjoyable. Good energy there. Now, if you're a student, the 10th and 11th are good days because these days you can have a really good focus. Your concentration will be very strong. Your ability to really absorb information is really strong on the 10th and 11th. Now, moving on to the red section of the calendar, which is your caution days. The dates listed in the red section here, you want to be mindful of these dates. You might want to take a screenshot of the calendar so that you can refer back to it. These are the dates that you have to be mindful of your decision making. Keep your decisions pending. If you're making decisions during these days, chances are very high you'll make the wrong choice. Either you'll be in pressure to make a decision, or you'll make the wrong decision because you're under the influence of somebody else and they're kind of nudging you to make a decision. Either way, once you make the decision and these dates have passed, you'll definitely go back and revisit the decision and wish you hadn't made those decisions. So definitely hold back on doing that. The energy listed in the red panel here, this energy is very challenging energy. This is energy which is not supporting you, which means if you have dates, court dates, if you have negotiations, if you are signing papers, if you're making any decisions, if you're doing any of that sort of thing, chances are very high it'll go against you because the energy here is not in your favor. Right? This is very challenging energy for you to work with. So definitely hold off on those things. Push those things to the more favorable days so that you can get more favorable results. Now, I'll really break this down for you by the dates. So the 1st, 27th, and 28th. This is very This is very low energy, so you could have unexpected expenses, you could have health issues, but overall your energy will be very low. You'll feel low as far as your mood as well. You'll feel like you want to self-isolate. You'll feel like you don't have the support that you need, but the overall feel of the day is just low. Now, moving on to the 12th and 13th. These are days where you could have, again, health issues, you could have expenses, but these are not unexpected like on the 1st, 27th, and 28th. This is mindless spending, so be mindful of where you're spending your money on these days. Best thing to do is just, hold on to your purse strings. Now, the energy on the 12th and 13th is very different than the energy from the 1st, 27th, and 28th. The 12th and 13th is very irritated energy. This is where you're actually very irritated within yourself, and the energy around you is also very irritated, meaning people around you will also be very irritated, meaning that you can get into a conflict or a fight with them very easily. So this is why I say take a screenshot of the calendar so you can be mindful of the dates, and that way you can actually hold off on things that you should be doing on these days. And also you can, if somebody's irritating you, at least you're aware of it, and then you don't get into any conflicts with anyone. This way you can manage the energy to your benefit. So this is how you make the calendar work for you. And if you know your family members or your friends, their Vedic ascendant sign, you can also look at their calendars and you can see that the energy is actually on point. So that way, you can match the calendars to see what days work best for you guys. So now moving on to, the best days that you need to focus on yourself in November would be the 2nd, the 3rd, the 29th, and the 30th. These are good days for you to focus on yourself, to rest, to relax, to self-reflect, do some self-journaling, go out for a walk, or do some meditation or yoga. This is where you want to get the energy focused back on you. So now let's move on to December. So in December, your best money days are the 1st, the 2nd, the 28th, and 29th. This is where you should have money in hand, meaning that money comes to you easily. If you ask for it, money should come to you. If you've lent out money and you want to ask for it back, this is a good time for you to do that as well. If you have invoicing, if you have billing to do, these are good days for that as well. Now, if you want to learn about the markets, the 7th and 8th are good days for that. If you want to invest further, then the 21st, 22nd, and 23rd are good days for that. You should see that these are really in your favor as far as finances. So again, this is not financial advice. Please speak to a financial advisor. Now moving on to career. So your best career days are the 19th and 20th. You'll see that your work environment is very supportive on these days. Your coworkers, your superiors really notice your efforts. The energy is good in your work environment. So if you have presentations, if you have meetings, these are really good days for that. Now, as far as your honey days, for those of you who are single, then the 7th and 8th are really good days for you regarding your romantic life. So these are good days for you to have the date night out. And if you're a student, then the 7th and 8th are really good days for you to do some studying. Your focus will definitely be really strong. Your concentration, your ability to study and really absorb information is really strong on the 7th and 8th. Now moving on to the red section of the calendar, which is your caution days. The 24th, 25th are days where your energy will be low. You could have unexpected expenses. You could have health issues on those days. But overall, the energy here is a very low energy. You're going to want to self-isolate. You're going to feel kind of low and down. So let those 2 days pass, and you should be fine. Now, the 9th and 10th, this is, again, you have health issues, you have expenses. You could also have very irritated energy on the 9th and 10th. It's a very different energy than the 24th and 25th. The 9th and 10th is a very irritated energy, meaning you are very irritated and the energy around you is very irritated, which means you could easily get into an argument with someone. So be mindful of that energy. And again, take a screenshot of the calendar so you have these dates on hand. Now, the 14th and 15th, these are days where your energy is very stressed. You're going to feel overburdened, overstressed. My best advice to you would be, when it comes to your caution days, it's better just to lay low. Know that these are the days that, you're not going to be feeling your best. So just, let this time pass. You have a lot of really good days, especially money days. You have a lot of money. This is a good money month for you, Pisces. So definitely make the most of this energy. I hope you make the best of every blessing that November and December bring to you, Pisces. If you've enjoyed today's calendar, please don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Thank you for watching today.